for me, and I think it really varies from people to people, for me that's tied to faith. And part of it is my faith holds my feet to the fire. I mean, I can't tell you, everyone knows me because I always try to make up fatwas and make up Islamic law and all of that stuff. Like, I want the easy way. And so I'll really push and I'll really ask, I'll be like, there's gotta be an easy way, there's gotta be an easy way. And that is the mind. It's the mind trying to rationalize things that sometimes can't be rationalized, right? And I think that's one of the worst things that happens within the Western culture is we've been stuck in our brains that we've lost the heart and the soul. And that's what faith does, is it makes you holistic. It connects the mind with the heart, with the soul, and also with the body. One of my favorite things in Islam, and if you tie it again going to think is in Islam, there's a verse in the Quran that says the body doesn't lie, the body will actually testify. And a lot of Muslims look at it as the day of judgment, that the body will testify, right? I've had 5 back surgeries. I will tell you, my body was testifying when my life wasn't going right. It was yelling at me, it was saying, you need to change. And so when I look at faith and I look at what Islam has done for me, it has connected my mind, my Western education, with my heart, with my soul. And that final stage for me, when you think of fasting, when you think of prayer, is the body. And so it's a holistic compilation where you really get to know yourself through all these different elements. And then you can actually lean in and begin to change the global perspective. And I believe it's a shift. I believe it just happens naturally when you really do that work, and it's real work. I mean, I cannot tell you how hard and how uncomfortable that internal connection can be. But once you do it, you know, it's you know, I don't even know what to call it. It's divine. I mean, you become linked to the divine, and you really. I mean, we say it very casually, like "Tawakkaltu ala Allah," like I depend on God, right? But it is one of the most difficult things to really do, especially in Western education, because we're taught that we can control stuff. But when you really depend on God and you really let go, and you give up that fallacy of control, you become unstoppable.
You know, and to build on what you're saying, I think the couple of themes that I think I would touch on too. One, conviction in your self-worth. And if you don't have that within yourself through anything else, let's say for whatever reason, your ego's been beat down, have it through believing and knowing that you are a creature that God created on this earth with deliberation, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is the way I've talked to some of my friends going through horrific things and really losing their sense of self-worth. Say, even if you don't have self-respect for yourself in this moment, because of your circumstances, you are a creature of God. And what are your responsibilities here? What are your capabilities? You can't just have been put here to be, right? It's to do. It's to help. And so coming at it from that angle, I think, is very important. And obviously, everything I'm saying today, I forgot to say. It's through my personal capacity, right now professional. But the reason I bring that up is to give you a private example of how I have personally used it is years ago I was working at a big corporate law firm in New York. I was not thrilled with the experience, but financial realities were dictating that choice for years. When I decided to leave, I left of my own accord without job in hand, which was a very shocking decision to my family and friends. Quite bold, particularly as someone who believed I can control everything. That was the ultimate leap of faith in a professional sense, but it actually helped me reconnect in a faith sense, because what is faith but believing that there is someone or something on the other side of that jump that you can't see right now, but it'll work out somehow, right? That's faith. And so I quit without job in hand. Period of months were no job in hand. And if people asked me, you know, why would you do that to yourself, or how do you know it's going to be okay, I'd say, I don't believe that not for anyone else this decision was made, but for myself, that's what I was put on this earth to do. I think there's something else. And every day what got me through wasn't my family. They loved me and they were supportive, but they were getting scared. It was me believing that my inner self was saying, this can't be it. I am capable of more. And I feel within myself that I'm a force to be reckoned with if I just unleash in the right way, right? And most women are like, oh, well, I don't feel that way. It's like, you have it in you. It's our own fear that sort of keeps us boxed in. But for me, faith is what got me through. It wasn't family, it wasn't friends. It was the absolute conviction I had, and through every challenge I've had. God has always, always tried to teach me and reminds me often I am not in charge. Things will happen. Lately I was in an Uber and there was a young hijabi woman telling me that she stopped wearing hijab because she was scared. And I said, you do you, you've got to do what you need to do to feel secure. Once she left the cab, the driver was sort of saying, you know, oh, I think you did right, God's going to protect you. I was like, well, God's protection doesn't mean bad things are going to happen to me. I think one of the big things that touches on this is, what do you think your purpose is here? If it's to just lead a happy-go-lucky life and be, that's cool. Your belief system is going to be tested hard. If your belief is you're here to be tested and grow and help, then bad stuff's going to happen, and that shouldn't shake your faith. Your faith should still be like a spinal column, that no matter what's happening around it, it stays firm and true and helps you through. I don't know if that touched on everything, but.
And I mean, I don't know what you say. I mean, I feel like, yes. But one of the verses that I really, really find, there are two verses that I find solace in, and one of them is, you know, like, be careful to hate something that's good for you, and to love something that's bad for you.
Yeah.
So I always remind myself, I may not know the difference, you know. I love my cookie and cream ice cream, and finally, after years, I know how bad it is for me, you know. So I mean, like, you know, and on a more serious level, like that knowledge. And the other thing that really, especially because, you know, I go through a lot of, I work in war, I go through a lot of faith-shaking experiences where I'm just like, how can a God exist? Like, I really have that very elementary, basic question over and over. My other favorite verse is, and what of your signs will you deny? What of my signs do you deny? And for me, that means nature. Like, I look at nature, I look at, again, the human body, man, wow. Like, you know, like, everything that we've created, right, airplanes, everything is based on on divine creation, right? That's what has inspired us, that's what's catalyzed us. And so, whenever I have that faith-shaking experience, I spend time in nature and I ask myself, what of these signs will I deny of the divine? And it becomes harder and harder to do. And again, once you begin to realize you're part of that fabric, you're part of the fabric of the divine, then it's limitless.
And there are going to be times in your life when really amazing things happen and you see the sign, right? So in my life, it was being sort of vindicated and having pulled this huge stunt of quitting a job within a job, being unemployed for months, but then finding my place as a diplomat, right? And everyone's like, oh, well, that worked out. No one remembers what I went through. But write that stuff down, because human nature is so flawed. We always forget the blessings. We always forget that we were checked in our ego for a minute. And in that moment, you're like, oh my God, I see it, you know, I see the connection, I see the sign that I was meant to do this. And then tomorrow I'll be like, God, why are you doing this to me? Yeah. You gotta break yourself out of that. I'm sorry, you wanted to?
No problem. Look, I hate to cut it for a few minutes, but hold your questions. The third party came, so she's gonna share her thoughts. Then we'll come back to the question and answer period. But
is she gonna read her poem?
We hope so.
Oh my God.
We hope so.
You're in for a treat.
But I really,
Maybe.
I love the conversation. Sister Aisha Prime. Oh, she was coming.
She's in here somewhere.
Sister Aisha Prime, you're being paged.
This poem gave me goosebumps when I heard it.
As well as hers.
You're
As well as their thought.
You're gonna do your poem, right, Miss Samai?
yeah, you can demand.
I actually didn't prepare.
It's on Karama's website, though.
Oh, right.
The video is. Go see it.
But I appreciate, that's so common. But, you remember my home.
I do.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I first want to just thank you so much, Brother Amir, for having programs like this, you know, where there are opportunities that we can actually discuss the role, the history, the place of Muslim women, and give that some context because it's extremely key and it's extremely necessary in our time today for multiple reasons. Number one, because it's one of those voices that we didn't hear from for such a long time, but now more and more we're seeing Muslim women who are, up front and present. I thank Karama for being one of those voices who are making sure that they're given the proper place that that's necessary. And other organizations, of course, you have the Linda Sarsour, we could just go countless and countless, Marjorie Aziza Hill, for those who are representing women in their proper light. So I actually would like to back it up a little bit and go in talking about Muslim women. It's extremely important that we first examine what does Allah, right? What does Islam teach about women, right, from the beginning? Because this is something that is something just very, very dear to my heart in terms of the Islamic teachings of women, because uniquely, it's something that we just don't hear a lot about. We hear about what her role is and what she's doing today. But anytime we address something, we have to look at, well, what was the intention for bringing that into existence from the beginning? So Islam teaches that Allah Almighty, long story short, is we know that the yin and the yang, that there is what we call the Jamali and the Jalali traits. And these Jamali and Jalali traits, the Jamali traits are those that we associate with beauty, with mercy, with nurturing, with compassion, with kindness. And then the Jalali traits are the traits that we associate with strength, with protection, with, vengeance, and those, and they, in that yin yang, they work well together. So this, what we would, for lack of a better word, we look at, in looking at the Jamali traits, you have the divine feminine. Right? You have that ultimate. So when Allah says in the Quran that He's going to create a Khalifa, or He's going to create one who would represent Him on earth, in order to represent Him on earth, you have to have that yin and yang, that Jamali and Jalali, that will represent the balance on earth in order to rule it properly. Right? And so this, in creating the woman, what we have is that we some people think, the Khalifa or the caretaker or the vice regent of the earth in Islamic culture is patriarchy. It's the man. It's Adam. Actually, it's both of them, right? Because when I created you to be a caretaker on the earth, you're not going to be able to multiply. There are multiple things you're not going to be able to do without your counterpart, right? And so, amazing, He takes His name, Ar-Rahman, and Rahman has the root of Ra-Ha-Mim, right? And so Ra-Ha-Mim is actually, Allah says, I took these letters and I created the woman. And in creating the woman, which is the womb of man, right? The woman, the womb of man, Ra-Ha-Mim, the womb in Arabic is called the Rahim, right? From these same letters. And then what we find in teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, he says that the womb of the woman is connected to the arsh, or connected to the throne of God. Right? So this is extremely significant. When we say that the womb of the woman is connected to the arsh of God, this actually correlates with when he said, I'm going to create a Khalifa, one who will represent me on the earth. Without a doubt, she's going to be connected to me in a secret way. So when He created the woman, there's this, as we are all familiar with the story, He created Adam, and then He puts Adam to sleep, right? And He extracts something from Adam, and He begins, and then He gives her something extra. So there is a secret between Allah and the woman that happens in the absence of men. We see this tradition being carried out when we hear the stories of Mary. Mary is alone. No man in the picture. Right? When Hajar, when Allah decides, I'm going to manifest the city of Mecca, Hajar is alone. Right? She's standing as a woman, and it's because of her divine choice. It's because of her choosing to say, I'm going, if this is where God has put me, and we can focus a little bit more on the details of the story for those of you who aren't familiar. Long story short, Abraham is ordered to bring her to this land. He doesn't know where he's going, and she's with him. And then he goes up mountains, down mountains, through valleys. He gets to this barren land. Amazing. He gets to this barren land. This is important, don't miss it. He gets to this barren land, and then he's told, leave her here. Right? Leave her here. He's like, here? My wife and my child, leave her there. So he begins to leave in his answer to obedience. So she says, wait a minute, Ibrahim, where are you going? Says, he doesn't answer. Where are you going? Doesn't answer. She says, did Allah tell you to do this? Did my Lord tell you to do this? Right? He says, yes. She said, then Allah is sufficient for me. Right? Alhamdulillah. Right? She's like, then Allah is sufficient for me. Go ahead. You've got a mission. You've got a purpose. I've got a mission with my Lord right now. There's some work that me and my Lord have got to take care of. And so what begins to happen is that confirmation and that declaration of her faith in that moment brings her right